My dear student, Assalamu alaikum. This is Aminur Rahman, senior teacher, Milestone College Sector 4 branch, Uttara Dhaka. My dear, welcoming you to our today's Bangladesh Global Studies class of class 9 and 10. Last class we have discussed about the lesson of chapter 7 about the organs of government and the administrative system of Bangladesh government. My dear, previous class we also discussed about the power and function of the president. I think you have learned about this, and this is not enough to learn about the only president. Today we will learn about the power and function status of our Prime Minister. That means not only our but also all other the parliamentary form of governments. All other parliamentary form of governments, the power function of Prime Minister, the power function of Jatiya Sangsad or Parliament. Today we will learn. So my dear student, welcome to our today's class. Bangladesh and Global Studies, class 9 and 10, chapter 7, the organ of Bangladesh government and the administrative system. My dear student, last class we have known about the organs of Bangladesh government, about the administrative system, and the power function of the president. So my dear, let me know about your learning point. What did you learn from the previous class? Let me check. My dear, can you tell me who is the titular head of the government or the state? Who is the titular head of the state? Yes, it's the president. My dear student, the next question for you, can you tell me who appoints the Prime Minister? Yes, President. The last question for previous class, my dear student, can you tell me who appoints the Chief Justice of Supreme Court? Yes, it's also President. Okay, my dear, so let's know about the today's topic. Today we will learn the status of the Prime Minister, the power function of the Prime Minister, the power and the function of Jatiya Sangsad, the parliament. My dear, after the end of the class, you will be able to know about the status of the Prime Minister. Then also you will know the power function of the Prime Minister. That means what's the activity done by our honorable Prime Minister, you will be able to know. And also we will be able to know about the legislature, the power and the function of the Jatiya Sangsad. What is Jatiya Sangsad? The name of the nation of the house, the name of the parliament of us. My dear student, so look, who is she? Yes, she is our honorable Prime Minister. Do you know the status of him, the status of her? My dear student, the Prime Minister of Bangladesh is the head of the government. She is the head of the government. She is the chief of executive of the government. She is the leader of the parliament, chief of the cabinet, and appoints the council of the ministers. My dear student, in the parliamentary form of the government, the status of the Prime Minister of Bangladesh is very high. Although the Prime Minister is appointed by the President, but later he has to act with the advice of the former. My dear, he or she holds the very prestigious position. As per the Constitution, the Prime Minister remains accountable for his or her governance to the Parliament. My dear, look, Now we will know about the power function of the Prime Minister. That means the activity, the task of our Prime Minister and the power of her. My dear, first of all, first one is the administrative and executive power. The Prime Minister gives an effective lead to the entire systems of the administration, and all the important decisions are taken by him or her. All types of executive power are conducted and regulated by the Prime Minister in the name of the President. The Prime Minister regulates, but the Prime Minister appoints the ministers and distributes the offices among them. All the action relating justice, finance, minister, and the foreign affairs, everything and done and conducted with the advice of the Prime Minister. My dear, the next one is legislative power. The Prime Minister plays a very vital role to legislation. He or she patronizes the ruling party in the parliament. The legislative action of the parliament revolved around him or her. The next one, my dear student, look, the power of Prime Minister in the leading parliament. The Prime Minister is the leader of the parliament, and he or she adopts the effective role for the successful and smooth management of the parliament. He or she leads to have the confidence and cooperation of the opposition. The Prime Minister has to discharge many functions for the sake of interest of all members of the parliament. President may summon, adjourn, or dissolve the parliament, but it must require the written advice of Prime Minister. That's why it is called the Prime Minister has the vast power in leading parliament. My dear, the financial power. Prime Minister reserves this authority. My dear student, in every financial year, finance minister show a annual financial statement before the parliament. Do you know what is called it? Yes, it's called budget. The financial policies of the Prime Minister reflect the budget represented by the finance minister. The president grants the fund for meeting the administrative expenditure with the advice of Prime Minister. My dear, the next one is the role of the Prime Minister to coordinating the government policies. My dear student, you all are the students of Milestone College. You know about the roles of coordinator in our administrative system. As same thing, all the government policies are coordinated by our Honorable Prime Minister. My dear student, look the next one, the role of the Prime Minister as the principal spokesman of the nation. My dear, now you are doing the online class. That means because of what? Because of the pandemic situation, critical situation, very critical situation we are passing few months ago because of the COVID-19 coronavirus. For that critical situation, our Honorable Prime Minister delivered valuable speech for the nation. And not only for this time only, but also in every critical situation, directory speech delivered by the Prime Minister. That's why she or he is called the spokesman of the nation. She also represented the country all over the world. Okay, my dear, the next one is the leader of the majority party. My dear student, last class I told you about the power function of the president. President appoint the Prime Minister. So can you remember? President appoint whom as a prime minister? President appoint the person who got the majority, the chief of the political party who got the majority. That means after the end of election, the party got the majority vote of that party's chief will be appointed as the prime minister. And that's why the leader of the majority party, prime minister, is the leader of the majority party. My dear student, the next one, the legislature. My dear, legislature is one of the most important organ of the government. Another two organ, you know what is? Last class I told you. What is the another two organ? Yes, that another two organ is. And the two organ is the executive or the administrative department, and the another one is judiciary department. You know the executive. We first class we learn about the activity of judicial activity of the executive department. Today now we will know about the activity of legislative department. My dear, to modifying law, to correctioning law, to introduce the new law, to keep patch the law with the modern time. If it is urgent, whose duty to correction it? Yes, it is the duty of legislator to correction the law. My dear, look, now we will know about the power and the function of Jatiya Sangsad. Jatiya Sangsad, what is Jatiya Sangsad? Yes, it's the name of our parliament. My dear, the name of the legislative body of Bangladesh is called Jatiya Sangsad. In total number of constituency 350. It was done by the amendment of the constitution, 5th amendment of constitution. My dear, 300 members will be elected by the direct vote of the mass people, and 50 seats are reserved for the man. My dear student, we Bangladesh practicing the parliamentary form of government, and it is re-established as per the 12th amendment of Bangladesh constitution. 12th, it's very important information. Underline it, and listen it very carefully. This question may come to your exam. Frequently it is come, my dear, in many ways. By the 12th amendment, the constitution of Bangladesh, the parliamentary form of government re-established. And this amendment was done in the year of 1991. My dear student, look now the power function of Bangladesh Jatiya Sangsad. First of one is the legislative power. Among the article of 153 article, you know, in our constitution, among them in 55 number article. 55 number article vested the legislative power of the republic in the parliament, directing that there shall be a parliament for Bangladesh, and that one will be the House of Nation, in which, subject to provisions of this constitution, shall be the vested the legislative power of the republic. The parliament has the plenary of power to make any new law and repeal the modifying law. My dear student, this is the legislative power of Jatiya Sangsad. Second one, the power formation of the government. The parliament plays very important role to form the government. My dear, the member who commands the support of the majority of the members of the parliament appoints the prime minister by the president, and he forms the cabinet. But if the prime minister cases to retain support of the majority in parliament, the government substitutes flopped up. Okay, third one, my dear, the financial power. The parliament virtually keeps an eye on how and why the fund of the state would be spent. Neither money bill nor any bill involving the expenditure from the public can be introduced without the assent of the jurisdiction of the parliament. The Parliament has the right to impose tax collection of the same. The government presents a budget before the Parliament in every financial year. The government has to bear the expenditure as per the budget passed by the Parliament. My dear, in fine, the whole expenditure of the state or the government are made in the direction of the Parliament. The next one is the power of judicial affair. My dear student, the Parliament may impeach the President in charge of the violation of the Constitution or of any grave misconduct or any ground. May impeach the Speaker. They may also impeach the Deputy Speaker, Ombudsman, etc. Because of that, the power of because of judicial power, judicial affairs, the Jatiya Sangsad may impeach Deputy Speaker, Speaker, even President. My dear, the next one is the power to electoral affairs. My dear student, do you know how the President, Prime Minister, Speaker, Deputy Speaker elected? Who elected it? Yes, the members of the Parliament, those who are the part of legislature, they elect the President, they elect the Prime Minister, they elect the Speaker, Deputy Speaker, Ombudsman, etc. That's because of who for the electoral affairs they elect. Okay, next one is the power to protection of an amendment in the Constitution. My dear student, our Constitution is not a Bible. It can be changed. But how it can be changed? It can be changed by the two-third vote of the constituency. My dear, the member of the Parliament, two-third member of the Parliament, two-third part of legislature, if they think they may change the Constitution. My dear student, the last one is miscellaneous power. The Parliament has the right to legislate for establishing the subordinate courts other than the Supreme Court. The Parliament has the power to declare the war, and also Parliament the power to make any treaty with any foreign countries or any other countries. My dear student, look, the Parliament has the legislature for the rules and regulation relating the local government also. That's all about the power function of Jatiya Sangsad. My dear student, thank you very much.